Alrighty, so recently we of course had the first Xbox Developers Direct of 2024. Shoutouts to Nintendo for making the word direct like an actual thing within the world of video games beyond just them. And overall, I made a video on it, gave my knee-jerk reaction to it, but overall, I left this presentation feeling pretty positive about Xbox and the Xbox brand for 2024. Yes, we've heard lots of rumors and speculation about them going third party, this, that, and the other, putting their games on other platforms. And that still remains to be seen what's going to happen with something like that. But when I strictly look at the games that were showcased during this Developers Direct, and yes, I wasn't a huge fan of the pacing of the presentation, I left with a good feeling. There were 3 must-play games, in my opinion, from this presentation. Of course, Hellblade 2 is coming out now, we know, in May. I think that game looks absolutely fantastic. I was a huge fan of the first game. We also have Avowed coming out in fall of 2024. Got to work on those character models a little bit as far as the enemies are concerned. I don't want a bunch of slee stacks from Land of the Lost 1991 running around in my game, and that's the only enemy I come across. But I do feel like they held back some of the different areas and some of the different things because of probably specific reasons. They kind of want to surprise players with what they have created for this game. But the dialogue trees look interesting, and I think the combat looks good enough. I know some people are saying like the combat doesn't seem like it's very weighted, but I think the myriad of options that you have in terms of combat will more than make up for it. Plus, I mean, this isn't a final product anyways. The game still has a little bit of time to cook. And then we have Indiana Jones, which, yes, I was initially shocked that it was a first-person game instead of a third-person game, but something I don't think I clarified very well in my initial video, besides just making a joke about it, was I was wanting this game to be third person if there was heavy platforming involved, because I feel like platforming in first person, like, yeah, there's been like Mirror's Edge, I think that does a good job of platforming in the first person perspective. But if it was going to be something like an Uncharted game, then I would have wanted it to be a third person perspective, because I just feel like that works better. But it definitely seems like this is a more grounded sort of stealth based style game, and I think this game looks absolutely phenomenal. This is one of my most anticipated games of 2024 now. Like, I am completely balls deep in this. I don't care that it's Troy Baker's voice. I think it sounds good enough. We got Harrison Ford's likeness for the character. I think the stealth stuff looks really cool. The combat looks really cool. The puzzles look really cool. There is that third person shot for cinematics, and of course for some of the environmental things where you're climbing up something. So I think this game has all the potential in the world. And all 3 of these games are 2024 games. We did learn about, some other, I don't even remember the name of it. It was like some Civilization game. I could care less about it. I know people will be excited for it though, because everyone likes different styles of games. And Trials of Mana was also there, but that's a multi-platform game. But I go back to what I said at the start of this video. I definitely feel like Xbox has potentially a very strong 2024, because we're just under the assumption that this is all we know for the year. There could be some smaller projects that come out that coincide along with this that maybe haven't been announced or maybe have been forgotten. I don't think you'll see Perfect Dark or Fable as getting a 2024 release, but you might get an update on some of those games. So I definitely have a good feeling about Xbox going into 2024. And now I'm kind of wondering to myself, could this be the year that Xbox starts to gain a little bit of traction with the PlayStation 5? Now, I'm not saying that they're going to surpass the PlayStation 5. I don't think the Xbox has any chance of surpassing that system. That system is selling with an interesting library of games, and it sells consistently. So people are buying the PlayStation 5, I feel, a lot more so for like third-party games and just because it's the new PlayStation instead of the new Xbox, because the Xbox brand was kind of damaged, during the Xbox One generation. But is this a year that they could potentially close the gap at least a little bit when it comes to the disparity between PlayStation 5 and Xbox system sales? Because that's why Xbox, Microsoft doesn't talk about Xbox system sales, because they stink. They stink comparatively. Rumor has it that it's selling worse than the Xbox One right now. But I feel like quality titles can definitely steer that ship in a different direction, especially when you consider Game Pass into this option. Game Pass is going to kill software sales for Microsoft, but I don't think they necessarily care about that. I think they're more interested in getting people involved into Game Pass and getting within that Game Pass ecosystem. I mean, I'm not buying Hellblade 2. I'm not buying Avowed. I'll buy Indiana Jones if there's like a cool collector's edition that comes with like a whip or something like that. But like beyond that, I don't really see the need to buy any of these games because they're already on Xbox. When looking at PlayStation 5's library of games for 2024, at least the ones that have been announced so far, first-party games seem to be kind of near and far between. Like, yeah, there's some exclusive games coming. There are games that are third-party games that are coming to the PlayStation 5, such as Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth looks absolutely fantastic. I think this game has potential to be one of the best games of 2024, so I'm not trying to diminish what is going on with the PlayStation 5, but I will kind of diminish their first-party efforts, because as it stands right now, like The Last of Us Part 2 remake was like one of their big games for 2024, or a remaster, I should say. It's called Remaster. And let's be real, it's not a remaster. It's a $10 upgrade that gives you a roguelike mode in it. But like graphically, it's the exact same game. It's the game that everyone already experienced on the PlayStation 4. So why would I need this new version of this on my PlayStation 5? We gonna hype up Helldivers 2? We gonna do that? Really? Because I'm not gonna do that. Helldivers 2, I don't think it necessarily looks like a bad game. It's not a system seller. It's not a game that I'm actually interested in playing because it just looks very generic to me. Other people might be hyped for it, and that's cool, but you're not buying a PlayStation 5 because of this game. Concord? What is Concord? I know Concord makes grapes. I know Concord, the game, has a roast beef sandwich in it, but what is this game? Like, what is it? You say it's going to come out in 2024. When you look at that PlayStation 5 trailer for the games coming out in 2024 for PlayStation 5, honestly, most of the games that I were excited about were games that were also available on Xbox. Metal Gear Solid Delta and Silent Hill 2 Remake. Yes, they're both remakes, but they're games that deserve remakes because they're PlayStation 2 games. These are also available on your Xbox. Right now, as it stands, I have 3 games that I'm definitely playing day one on my Xbox, with games like, of course, Indiana Jones, Hellblade 2, and Avowed. And that's just stuff I know about. Looking at Sony's first-party library, besides Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is not a first-party game, what am I buying? Third-party games? There's nothing wrong with doing that. But I do feel like with the lineup that we at least know about thus far from the PlayStation 5, like, it definitely feels a bit soft in terms of first-party games. I can't imagine that that's going to stay that way. I'm sure something else will be announced and something else will be revealed, but you got to remember, games like Venom, games like Wolverine, those games are 2025 and 2026 respectively. Like, there's a ways away for those games. So I don't know. I do feel like, if you had to ask me right now on the 20th of January, when I'm filming this video, which system has the stronger 2024 library, I'm leaning towards the Xbox. Because yes, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth looks absolutely phenomenal. Rise of the Ronin looks pretty cool. It's probably not a day one game for me, though. But like beyond that, all the stuff is third party. Trials of Mana, Silent Hill 2, Metal Gear Solid Delta. And then you look at Xbox, Hellblade, that's going to be a really good game probably. Avowed has a lot of potential. Indiana Jones looks absolutely awesome. I think Xbox's main enemy right now is themselves. Because I do think that they can move some units, or at least get some Game Pass subscription sales, which they seem to care about the most. Like, I think people would sign up to play these games. But the one caveat I have with all of this is Xbox going to actually deliver? Because I don't trust release dates from Xbox, okay? We have learned time and time again that a lot of times they say something is going to come out, and then it gets delayed. Can be delayed quite a bit. So I'm kind of a little bit leery giving them the benefit of the doubt just because of their track record when it comes to things like this. But if they're able to prove their track record wrong and actually come through with releases for all of these games in a timely manner, plus some other surprises, I feel like PlayStation 5's got to step it up a little bit. Demand more from your system. Like, you should be getting first-party games in the 4th year of the system without having to wonder what's coming out. What am I going to be playing this year that's exclusive to this system? And I feel like PlayStation, at least right now, they have the biggest question mark about their 2024. I'm sure we'll learn some answers soon from them, and I'm sure we'll see some games. I don't know, man. It feels very weird because I feel like if there was a lot of stuff in the chamber for 2024, we would have learned about it in the end of 2023. Remember that big PlayStation showcase that was coming at the end of 2023? That never happened. Hey, you know what? Keep your eyes on the sparrow, all right? Make sure you're watching everything going on because this is going to be a very interesting year for all companies. PlayStation, Microsoft, and of course Nintendo with new hardware. But I think Xbox, they might have something cooking here. I'm going to let them cook a little bit. Let me know what you think of this, though, in the comments section down below. Do any of these games sort of tug at you to either pick up an Xbox or pick up something like Game Pass on your PC and check out these games? Or do you just not care and you're a loyalist to a PlayStation or a Nintendo system? Which to that I say, buy all the consoles, play all the consoles. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Hit that bell as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.